Hello, this is Newsfeed. We look at the talk online, from news stories to what's trending. Well, attacks on Ukrainian civilians and infrastructure on Monday morning by Russia are being described as desperate and reprehensible. The Kremlin forces used so-called kamikaze drones to hit major cities, including downtown Kyiv, where several people were killed in an apartment building. This video is from police in the capital city, showing officers allegedly shooting down one of the drones, followed by an explosion. According to Ukraine's Vice Prime Minister Mikhailo Deferov, the drones were from Iran and were also used to destroy a building and someone's house. He added there were people still trapped under rubble. It was just a month ago Ukraine downgraded diplomatic ties with Iran after accusing Tehran of supplying drones to Russian forces. But this journalist points out the military alliance with Iran has now become essential to the Russian war effort. Our correspondent in Kyiv is where a new government initiative is aiming to identify drones before they strike.
We're in central Kiev, and just a few meters away is this neighborhood that was targeted this morning. It's the second time in a week that the capital was targeted. The Ukrainian officials are saying that Iranian Shahed drones were used in this particular attack. Why are these drones concerning? Even though Iranian officials denied providing Russia with these weapon systems, they're very dangerous because they carry a light payload but can travel far distances, over 2,000 kilometers they can cover, and then they're kamikaze drones, and they're called that because they literally blast into their target and they don't come back. But Ukrainian officials have created a way that citizens themselves can try and protect their country from these kinds of attacks. This application was created by the Ukrainian government, and you see here it's on this page where you can select the kind of incoming projectile. If you were on this street while this attack was happening and you saw the projectile coming, you could open the application, choose this particular kind of incoming projectile, and then point it up towards the sky at the place or the direction where this projectile is coming from. That data will actually go to the Ukrainian armed forces, and it will allow them to incorporate that in how they try and intercept this incoming projectile. Ukrainian officials have been calling on the international community and their allies for more advanced weapon systems in order to prevent these kinds of attacks, even though today they were able to intercept several of the Shahed drones, according to Ukrainian officials. Some of them did get through and cause this destruction here in the middle of the city of Kiev. Ukrainians say they need those kinds of weapons, these special advanced weapons that intercept incoming missiles from their allies, to prevent these kinds of attacks and to allow them to continue to fight back and try and retake their territory in southern Ukraine.
Well, as fear spreads in the Ukrainian capital, the Interior Minister's advisor posted this video online. It shows a Ukrainian soldier surprising his kid with a visit home. The caption says simply, "This is what we're fighting for." These kinds of social media posts have been important to keeping morale up on the Ukrainian side. As President Zelensky once said, "The enemy can attack our cities, but they won't be able to break us."
Моя армія варить каву та слухає джаз, танцює танго та сальсу, а іноді вальс.
Моя армія читає Біблію та робить намаз. Їй благають дати автограф Тор.
This is also getting traction on social media. The song is called Warriors of Light. It was written by Belarusian punk rock band Liapis in 2012. It became popular 2 years later in Ukraine, but was only translated into Ukrainian this year. Another big story we're following is the most important political event on the Chinese calendar that began on Sunday, the 20th Communist Party Congress.
Okay, so let me break down what this is for you. This Communist Party meeting happens once every 5 years, and this time around, it is the Communist Party's most important meeting in decades. And we are talking here about the Communist Party. This is where true power lies in China. The media often refers to Xi Jinping as the president of China, but where his power comes from is his role as general secretary of the Communist Party. And normally, normally, this twice-a-decade meeting is a time for a peaceful transition of power. After 2 terms, the General Secretary of the Communist Party has been stepping down for modern Chinese rulers. But Xi Jinping, he is ripping up that precedent. He is set to be reanointed for a 3rd term, setting himself up to be ruler for life. So why should you care about what's happening here? Because increasingly, the fate of 1.4 billion people in China, the fate of China and its relationship with the rest of the world, the way that global governance technology is developed, well, increasingly, a lot of that hinges on the mind of one man, and that's Xi Jinping. So what is Xi Jinping's vision for China? It really boils down to this: make China great again. It's about restoring China to what Xi Jinping sees as China's rightful place in the world. And for him to get there, the Communist Party, with him at the top, is what, in its leadership and power in China, being infused in Chinese society, that's what's necessary to reach that goal.
Well, President Xi opened the event with a summary of his government's challenges and achievements. He spoke about protecting citizens from the coronavirus pandemic, striving for peaceful reunification with Taiwan, and implementing innovative development. And while that received applause inside China, it didn't take long for analysts outside the country to criticize what they heard. On COVID-19, Xi said the Communist Party had major positive results in controlling the pandemic. But this professor of Chinese studies at Yonsei University in Seoul says Xi's tone was unapologetic and sounded defensive in the face of an increasingly unpopular COVID-0 policy. With regard to the economy, Xi said he wants to increase the salary of low-income earners and ensure the safety of grain and energy resources. But the executive director for the Center for China Analysis in the U.S. said there was very little indication of adjustment to policy in the president's speech, even though the domestic economy and international relationships face increasing headwinds. She also talked about Hong Kong, over which he said his government has comprehensive control. And on Taiwan, he issued stark warnings. The president said there are serious provocations from separatist activities by independence forces on the autonomous province and external interference in Taiwan's affairs. He added that the complete reunification of the motherland must be realized. The senior research fellow at Chatham House in the UK described the president's language as hawkish, particularly when Xi said he would not exclude the use of force as a last resort. Well, that's a warning to the US and other Western allies. Britain's newest Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, has U-turned on most of the proposed tax cuts that were announced in Prime Minister Liz Truss's mini-budget just 3 weeks ago. He says his measures will help raise around $36 billion a year.
A central responsibility for any government is to do what's necessary for economic stability. This is vital for businesses making long-term investment decisions and for families concerned about their jobs, their mortgages, and the cost of living.
There's been lots of reaction online. This one says Hunt was one of the most unpopular health secretaries and looks like he'll be one of the most unpopular chancellors too. This person says the new Treasury Chief may as well have held up a piece of paper that said Liz Truss mini budget and dropped it into a very loud office shredder. And David here can't understand how any chancellor can make such sweeping tax and spending announcement while calling it a mini budget. He asks, what happened to parliamentary accountability or a proper finance act that has to be approved? There's now speculation that with the new chancellor basically ripping Liz Truss's mini-budget to shreds, it could be the Prime Minister's job next on the chopping block. This person on Twitter said the Prime Minister only said everything she thought her party wanted to hear in order to get the job, and that she's forgotten about the British people. Callum posted this photo. Not sure what it's of, but the caption says, "I am not dead yet." It's a message from Truss to Hunt. And this person poses a question that more people seem to be asking, and that's, what is the point of Liz Truss? And here's what's trending. Venezuelan authorities are using helicopters to drop supplies to communities in the mountains where roads are still impassable. That's after torrential rains and mudslides killed more than 50 people last week. In central Tahrir, people are helping to deliver and distribute food. Free haircuts are being given. They're fumigating homes for pests like mosquitoes and cockroaches. And they're also cleaning streets. It's a massive effort that's using both the police and army with the help of regular people. All right, let's talk food. Mediterranean cuisine is thought to be among the healthiest. Here in Turkey, cuisine is centered on nutritious vegetables, olives, free-range eggs, meat and yogurt, of course. Whether you love or hate Turkish food, studies suggest the region's diet is tied to better memory, cognitive function and mental sharpness. Maybe that's why you can never win an argument with a Turk. Anyway, some local restaurants are getting international recognition.
53 restaurants in Istanbul made their debut in the historic Michelin Guide. 5 of them were awarded a total of 6 stars. The announcement was welcomed on Instagram. Many proud Turks expressed their support. Türk Fatih Tutak, which serves organic cuisine, got 2 stars, while Araka, which offers modern creative cuisine, got 1 star. Nicole, Neolokal and Mikla, with a modern Turkish cuisine, were also awarded 1 star each. We went to Nicole to meet its executive chef Serkan Aksoy. Right now we are seeing an open dolma. Dolma is a very traditional Turkish dish, but Serkan chef made some innovations on it. And unlike traditional stuffed vegetable dolma, Serkan chef puts shrimp between the deep fried grape leaves, along with rice, olive oil, and Middle Eastern spices with some smoked yogurt. It looks amazing. It looks like it's very beautiful.
Biz modern Türk mutfağı diyebiliriz.
We offer modern Turkish cuisine to our guests. We take strengths from our traditional culinary heritage and modernize the dishes that I used to cook when I was younger, using especially the flavors I love in different techniques. We make small touches to dishes such as dolma and kunefe.
So this is Serkan chef's favorite, kunefe, with a different interpretation. The traditional Middle Eastern dessert made of spun pastry and cheese is combined with ice cream. And I can't wait to try and taste it. Right now I'm so excited because I'm gonna try Serkan chef's dolma, and on the Michelin Guide it was specifically mentioned that this dolma made the Michelin Guide inspectors very impressed. So I'm very excited that I'm going to try it. It's amazing, too good. What I noticed about these 2 dishes are they taste like traditional Anatolian dishes, but there's something different with them, and there's some different flavor, there's some different spices. It's a great experience to taste that difference. Prior to the revelation ceremony, the Michelin Guide took to Twitter, posting some traditional Turkish dishes, including içli köfte, a delicious combination of bulgur wheat and spiced minced lamb, and a favorite for all Turks, tea. In another tweet, which reads, "A magical seal," the guide shared pictures of the historic city's landmarks, the magnificent Bosphorus, and the mosque at the iconic Taksim Square, and a church in Beyoğlu. The perfect blend of cultures and beliefs in Istanbul reflected in the city's unique cuisine. Now 6 Michelin stars are shining over Istanbul. After the city's debut in the prestigious guide, many more chefs and restaurants will be looking to be awarded next year. And the sky is the limit for Turkish cuisine on the world stage. Kübra Akoç, TRT World, Istanbul.
And that's some of what's happening online at this time. To see more, find us on YouTube and subscribe for updates if you like. Until next time, bye.